I couldn't let this week go by without shouting out my favorite soap opera. Right now, my favorite soap opera of the last 3 years, a soap that I've watched for 30 years, EastEnders. It turned 40 last week, or this week, that's how you want to look at it. It turned 40. And it showed us, since a lot of you guys don't watch EastEnders, it's a soap from Europe, from England. If I told you some of the storylines, I wish I could. There's just this show is so good. But first, I want to say welcome to Daytime Today. I'm James Lott Jr. Shout out to Candace Mack. It's her birthday yesterday. As I'm recording it, is today, but this is coming out tomorrow. So I was Candace Mack. She is one of the stars of my audio drama, The Email. She also was in Forever and a Day, which we used to have on our network, but now it's on its own network. And she was the co-host and creator of this show, Daytime Today, with Tammy Govea. So happy birthday, Miss Candace. Enjoy your day today, this weekend. And she'll also be on Bold and Beautiful with us, our show. Oh, sorry, folks. Something happened there. Okay. Okay. All right, so yeah, I'm sorry, I was looking at something. Okay, back to you guys. It's like I got this text at the same time I do something else. Okay, um, so yes, Candace Beck will be on the Bold and Beautiful podcast today, so that's another thing too. Okay, EastEnders. So here is my kind of personal journey with EastEnders. 31 years ago, in 1994, in the wintertime, um, I was in San Francisco. I was young and tender, working at a place called Headlines. Headlines had several locations. They were kind of like they were a retail store mixed with, they were like a Target. No, I don't say Target. They were like someone said a Kmart. But it was just they had everything. They had clothes, they had home goods, they had cards. They also had a head shop, meaning like if you like to smoke something, they had that downstairs. They had some kids' toys, some adult toys. It was like novelty items. Like it was a mixture of a bunch of stuff. I couldn't. Someone used to call it gay mart. Like it was a Kmart, but it was kind of gay ass. It was in San Francisco. It was very popular. I was working there, and San Francisco is a very tourist town. And the locations we worked, one locations I worked at, there were several locations I worked at, but the one location I worked at was in downtown San Francisco by Union Square, by the trolley car turnaround, right there on Market Street. And a lot of tourists would come through there. I was to ride the trolley to go over to Fisherman's Wharf or whatever. And there was a huge mall there and everything. And Blondie's Pizza was my favorite, which is gone now too. That's all gone now. The mall's gone, and Blondie's is gone, Headlines is gone, it's all gone. But in 94, in the wintertime, people would come for visit for holiday. And that's when first learned about Europeans would have holidays. They would get like whole months off and go travel. And they used to sell Levi's. Levi's were a big thing. Levi's 501s, 505, 569, 550, 518. Yeah, I mean, I do all, I could fold a Levi jean ball in no time. I was very proud of myself. Southern Levi's, their size. Because Levi's were a hot commodity going back to Europe. But for a while, there were people would come staring at me, and they're like, "Do you watch EastEnders?" I'm like, "I don't think we get that in America. I didn't know what that was." And they're like, "You look like this character on the show." There's a black guy on the show that, like, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he looked apparently they're like, he looks like you. I'm like, "I looks like you." I'm like, kept saying that. And then we got to switch over for for a half a year going into 1995. I kept hearing that, especially in the summertime. So I said, okay, I got to see if I can find this thing. Now, remind you, this is 30 years ago. Um, there was no internet for me to go on to like look for it on the internet. There was cable, and that's where I kind of found it. It was weird. So there was no BBC at the time or America or anything like that time, not that I know of, my cable. So I actually looked at TV Guide. Remember TV Guide? You get a little TV Guide? The TV Guide, and I opened up and looked, and I found it. They were showing somebody. They were showing it on a station like Channel 58 or something like shit like that, something like that. And like on Tuesdays at like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, so like that in the morning. So I had my tapes. It's nice to tape. I used to tape my soaps. This is the daytime today. Back then, I was taping all my soaps, and I'd watch them later. I had to work. So I said I added to the queue. I said I set it for taping. And I watched my first episode the summer of 1995. I can't remember the first night episode, but that's when I met the Mitchell brothers, the Beals with Ian and all them, and the Mitchells, the Beals, all that. I mean, Sharon, everybody. I mean, Tiffany, Ricky, and my girl. It was just. I met all these people, and I was like, wow, Bianca, all them. And it was so different from American soaps. It was much more grittier. It was not as glamorous. It's this square in England, and the Queen Vic is like the place they all drink all the time, but like nobody's drunk, but they drink in the pub all the time. So I learned about pub culture in the UK, which I knew about. I was somewhat of an Anglophile anyway. I was watching Ab Fab and all these other kind of shows from that time over there. So I was like, I got hooked, but it was only on once a week, and they would show like 2, 3 episodes, and I was just devouring them. And I think we are like slightly behind, like slightly. So yeah, I think we are like maybe a month behind or something like that. It was like at the time when I got to it, I got hooked. So, and then as the years have gone by, and I saw the guy, and I was like, oh, dude, he was like West Indian. Or I was like, that makes sense. I'm West Indian, makes sense. I saw that look like him. And I ended up watching this whole time, last 30 years. And obviously, it got more sophisticated. You got BBC America, then we got BBC, and then you got certain thing you can watch it on YouTube. There's like, you can start watching it, you can get ideas of EastEnders everywhere. And they have BBC iPlayer, you can pay for that and watch it. And so I've been watching it for 30 of the 40 years. And I want to tell you why I think it's the best soap out there right now. I mean, seriously, the best soap. They use past, they use history, they use present. As you see behind me in the picture, very diverse, and diverse in a way that is just the cast. It's just what it is. They'll put black and white together, black and Asian together, white and this. They don't even care older, younger. And it's story. It's very story driven and character driven both at the same time. And there's such history, and it's over the top at times. There was some storylines like what, like anything else, but I feel like it's gripping, and I feel like they tell a good tale. Um, the last year was the sixth, right before Christmas. It was just like there was going to be a murder of one of the main men of the square, and these six women were going to do it basically, and they kept leading it like, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Then we thought, and literally in the climax, spoiler alert if you haven't watched people, the climax, one guy goes down. We think he's dead. We're like, oh, it's him. No, 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 the show isn't over. It was like there's still like 10 minutes left. In the other room, there's a surprise confrontation and a surprise killing there. It's like, are they both dead? He just said one. Turns out the first one actually survived, still breathing. So the one we thought was going to die, it wasn't. It was the surprise was somebody else. Oh, poor Keanu. That was just brilliant. And so my friend Andrea, who I love dearly, who's so me and Brittany, she was like, "Oh, this storyline's been going on for until next Christmas." I was like, "Wow, you're crazy," and she was right. They found a way because who like to find out who did it. All that. They found a way to keep the storyline going without being like the pacing was good. They would take their time. They had other storylines coming in. Like they found a way to string it along till this Christmas, this last Christmas. Um, there's still like repercussions happening from it. And side note, the first guy who died now is dead for real in a later thing. Um, they have soapy goodness every episode. What's also great, especially with this particular alliteration of it, is that they're able to get people back from the past. Patsy Palmer is my girl. I know she lives out here in California somewhere, but she's back as Bianca, And I'm just so, and Sonia, who plays her, who's been on it forever, been on there forever. They both been on forever. Um, I'm like seeing them together in a storyline now, and they're a little older, and I'm fascinated. I want Patsy Palmer on my show. Like get her on here. She's my favorite. So my favorite redhead. So just seeing them in current storyline that draws from the past and has new elements and Reese and all that. It's so good. They just had this literally explosive 40th anniversary episode. And they killed a character. Spoiler alert. Who was actually the first on-screen birth on EastEnders, Martin Fowler. I remember when he was a teenager. It's probably a different actors, of course. But I remember he was a teenager. I remember when he was growing up, and they had killed him. I was like, what? What? Oh my God, the Queen Vic's all messed up, which is the center of everything. They had Who Done It with the who smacked smacked Cindy out or whatever. We found out who did that. Also, they had decided to do a live episode. And one of the smart things they did is they involved the audience, which we don't do in America anymore. I'm probably too scared. They had them vote on two storyline outcomes. One was the baby of one of the characters, and spoiler alert, the name was Julia, was picked. So it's a cute name for Sonia. And also a love triangle. Denise, Ravi, and Jack. They had the audience decide which one should go with. And to me, I would have fine with either one because both guys are hot. I would have went to either direction. And each one had viable story, and the fans chose. And spoiler alert, they chose Jack. I was like, oh, I thought for sure Robbie was going to get it. They decided to go back to Jack, and it was very smart to include the audience. The live episode was good. I mean, they're taking chances and doing things that our American soaps just don't do. And yes, they have the detractors. I've seen some of the EastEnder critics and things like that and stuff. People don't like certain things, but that's fine. They brought back Grant Mitchell, Ross Kemp. I'm in. I was like, I'm in. He's back. And the guy who plays Phil has been phenomenal. His descent down has been phenomenal. They're like real people. That's what's so great about this show. Of course, my all-time most shocking scene was when Tiffany died, New Year's Eve, 1999. I think most of us could say that was. I remember that happening, and that homeboy hit her by accident. It was so messy. Oh my God! As Grant was trying to take their baby, it was so messy. And I remember they killed her. I could not believe it. My team McCutcheon, I remember her. She had some songs out for us. I remember back in the 90s, but I love the show, and I just want to make sure I celebrate its 40th anniversary. I talk about it in some of my Zooms and some of the shows out there. Um, if you get a chance to try it, go on YouTube. So just check. An Instagram page. I think it's BBC EastEnders. They also have a Twitter page. Also, check them out. They're always posting behind the scenes stuff. They're posting scenes and things. I mean, just check them out. And so it's really good. And I just did a whole show on Neighbors that's going off the air. Another soap that I thought was really good from Australia. There's some good soaps. There's Emmerdale and Casualty, and there's all these other. For years there was Coronation Street. There's a lot of other soaps out there, and also a lot of telenovelas. You want to get those out. A lot of Indian, Korean soaps. There's some really good stuff out there, and of course the audio drama. So just beyond the gates, which starts tomorrow, which we're excited about. There are other mediums out there that are soapy that are doing stuff too. So check, I got audio dramas. You got to check them out. But this is all about EastEnders. Happy 40th EastEnders. You're younger than me. And I celebrate you every day, and I really enjoy your show. And to produce a show for 40 years is not easy feat. As I've been producing shows for 10, and I'm like, I got 30 more years to go. I won't even be here. I won't even be here 30 more years probably. So I'm like, I can't even say I'll do a year, say anything with 40. It's an accomplishment. It's a feat. You should be proud. This is Daytime Today. I'm James Lott Jr. We'll talk to you next time.